Hi folks, this is All the Fruit. I'm in the jungles of Borneo. To be precise, I'm near the small town of Pelaga, basically in the heart of Borneo in the state of Sarawak. And yeah, I've asked myself a lot, can I survive in the jungle? I mean, I've been trekking in the jungle a lot, like just in the area of Pelaga, I've had like 10 days of lonely jungle trekking to the most remote places. I know a thing or two about forest fruit and a little bit about forest medicine. The jungle is not too cold even at night, and it's not too hard to find water. So can I survive in the jungle? And why not get it one step further? Can I survive in the jungle naked? So today we're gonna explore the question whether you can survive in the jungle naked. And yeah, about 1.5 hours ago, I thought, can I survive in the jungle naked? Can I make myself clothes and shoes out of jungle plants, stuff that lasts long enough so that it's really more than just a fashion statement, but really some useful jungle clothing? And I made some stuff for myself. I made a hat, a slip, a bra for our lady viewers, and some footgear. And I walked with them for 1.5 hours through some of the most difficult terrain you can find in Borneo. Very steep slopes, riverbeds with giant boulders, dense vegetation, and apart from a couple times where I had to fix straps which became undone, this stuff actually lasted quite long. 1.5 hours for stuff you can make for yourself in 5 minutes out of jungle plants is quite good. So I thought, okay, let's make a video about it. Well, of course, I'm not naked. I have my shorts and even a t-shirt for our more shy viewers. I'm barefoot right now. Oops, I'm barefoot right now. But I came here in Crocs. But I've been trekking through the jungle for days or end without shoes. It's actually not too difficult as long as you don't step into some rattan palm, but any type of footgear will actually help you, make your life easier and make your survival more probable. Okay, well, I used both hands when I made those clothes for me, but now I'll try to make those with one hand. By the way, here are the clothes I was wearing for like 1.5 hours. This is my bikini. This is the footgear. I cannot call those shoes or socks. Whereas this is my scarf or hat or whatever you want to call it. And somewhere around there should be my slip. They don't look very nice, but they lasted long enough. And I'm sure the stuff I'll make now will look even less nice because for part of the video I can use only one hand. Well, again, a couple disclaimers, folks. Watching YouTube video doesn't make you a survival expert, no matter if it's Bear Grylls or All the Fruit. This is just for entertainment. Maybe you can get a couple tips from this. Oh God, is my camera? No, I think the camera is fine. The sun was... Well, so, whether it's Bear Grylls or All the Fruit or any other channel, it's just for entertainment. You can watch this stuff, you can get some useful information on jungle survival from YouTube videos and books and TV shows and so, but it doesn't make you a survivor. So please don't go naked into the jungle. The locals will be scared and your clothes will probably not be as good as the stuff you can bring to the jungle. Even in this nice climate, protecting your sensitive parts with some shorts and t-shirt and shoes is really very important. Oh God, what is this giant wasp here? Okay, and another warning. When you are putting plant material or any other unknown material to your skin, it's basically the same as when you're putting it in your mouth. You can get rashes and allergic reactions and very bad reactions to this stuff. So I was using some sort of, I think it was aerial roots from probably some fig. Very good ropes, actually pretty much as good as the ropes you can buy on the market. Actually, those jungle tribes, they are sometimes selling jungle vines as ropes on the market. Now I'm using something, not exactly sure what it is. Maybe you can tell me. So I'm gonna use one of those vines. Come on. It's actually so sturdy that it's hard to break it. That it's hard to cut it even with a parang. Here I'm using some different vine, considerably thicker. I haven't used those species yet, so I don't know how good they are, and I don't know how good they will be for my skin. Well, vines, you can use a lot of jungle vines, but you don't want to make your clothing just out of vines. So I'm gonna use the leaves of bois lemba, or the lemba fruit, Molineria latifolia, a very popular ornamental worldwide. It comes from those jungles, but you can find it everywhere in the tropics, and even in temperate areas it's present in botanic gardens and even in flower pots. It has very tasty fruit, which are near the ground. Let's find them. Here they are. Very tasty fruit, which tastes actually like dragon fruit. This one is... This one doesn't taste as nice as dragon fruit. This one is very sour, maybe still underripe. Phew. Yeah, I tried some which were much sweeter. This is just sour. Well, it tastes like some juicy sour fruit, not too bad. But today we're gonna use the leaves. So... well, those leaves here are a little bit old. They have epiphytes. Epiphytes are plants which grow on leaves. Epiphytes are plants which grow on other trees, and epiphytes are plants which grow on the leaves of other plants. So those leaves are quite old. Gonna use them. Let's collect our material for our jungle clothing. And then I'll try to prop up the phone somewhere and actually work with both hands. Well, of course, use the biggest leaves you can find. The bigger the better. The bigger, the longer. Longer means they are easier to tie, and it also means bigger surface. Well, let's take a couple more from here so that I don't have to get up in the middle of everything. Okay. So I'm walking barefoot all the time, and as long as there are no rattan palms or other very spiny plants around, or as long as you don't step on some scorpion or centipede, walking barefoot in the jungle is actually not too unpleasant, as long as the terrain is not rocky. But of course, walking with shoes is much better. Okay, so here we are. And now, let's see how long I need to make those clothes. I already collected the stuff, but I didn't trim it yet. So I'm taking one jungle vine. It's pretty strong. Well, now I ripped it apart. I wanted to say I could rip it apart if I use all my force. Well, it is quite strong. So I gotta make this into a belt. I could rip it apart, but most modern strings of that thickness, you could also rip them apart with all your force. Now let's find two nice big leaves. Let's make a knot out of them. Well, this will be pretty close to my private part, so maybe if you want to wear this a lot longer, the knot should be a little bit more thin. You can actually remove most of the substance of those leaf stalks and use just the fibers of the bark. Now I did this, I removed most of the substance of the leaf stalks. The slip which I used to walk through the jungle was A, it was on top of my pants, and B, it was pretty loose, hanging pretty far down. So now I'm tying one of those leaves to my belt, just using a granny knot. This is the reason a couple of those things became undone while I was in the forest. I'm just, well, let's not use a simple granny knot, let's use a double one. I think no, the leaf cannot take it. Those leaves are quite sturdy, but not that sturdy. Okay, so this is gonna be the back side of my slip. Now I'm tying my belt. Well, this vine is not as nice and smooth as the one I used before. As you can see here, the knot is quite messed up. The one I used before, here it is again, was extremely smooth. It made beautiful knots. It was just as strong. Okay, now here we go. Well, if you use this without any pants, of course your private parts might show, and also some of your butt might show, but it's still better than nothing, I would say. And if you use even bigger leaves, even less of your private parts will show. Okay, now for the hat. Actually, this I saw in some YouTube video by some local guy. Actually, yeah, there are guys from the local tribes in Malaysia as well as in Indonesia, and also girls from the local tribes who make amazing videos, much better than what any white person makes about the Borneo jungle. Well, usually those videos are in Bahasa Melayu or Bahasa Indonesia. That's why they are not being suggested to a lot of foreigners. Oh, okay, what's going on now? This worked so well last time. Well, yeah, maybe I should suggest a couple of those videos made by locals, because from them you can learn a lot more than from any white person who comes to the jungle. Oh no, now I made it too... okay, this worked on the first attempt before, but now somehow it doesn't. Okay, let's try this again. Tie this together really well. Actually, my hat didn't become undone even a single time in 1.5 hours on this horrible terrain. But here it happens again. I don't know why. Maybe those leaves, it is definitely the same species, Molineria latifolia, but maybe those leaves are not as good as the ones I used. So here is this hat or scarf or whatever you want to call it. It's of course not covering all your head. I could probably make this from 2 leaves. Well, let's try it. I haven't tried this before, but maybe this should work. Yeah, oh no. Now I'm trying out new things I haven't tried out before. And I'm really not good at crafting or making clothes or anything. Actually, I've never made anything like this before. Okay. Well, I don't even know what my product looks like, but there is something in front of my head, there is something on top of my head, so yeah, better than nothing, just like the slip. And now let's go for the bra. But most of the leaves I'm left with are kind of old and ripped. Okay, I guess this I have to move it somewhere to the back. Okay, where was the other vine I cut? Okay, this is quite thick for a bra. Here is a thinner vine. Maybe use this. Okay, strong enough. Now here I'm removing again the inside from the leaf stalks, just leaving the bark of the leaf stalks. That's to make them easier to make knots. So where is my bra? Here it is. Okay, hope this will be stable enough. Well, I don't need a brand. I don't know if this will protect me enough to make a difference in a jungle environment, but let's imagine you are a lady and for some reason you got shipwrecked on some remote jungle island. For some reason you got shipwrecked without any clothes and you want to be decent enough. You don't want the people who rescue you to stare at you. I guess making a slip and the bra. This video is just a suggestion. I'm sure that most of the ladies and gentlemen out there will be much better at making those things than I am. Okay, now let's tie. Let's tie the other end of those leaves, the tips of those leaves. Oh, I'm sure. Why did everything work so well when I was doing it? I thought, okay, I did it once, it worked so well, so I don't need to practice. Let's just make the video. And now everything is messed up. Okay, and now how do I put this on? This goes to the back. This goes, this goes to the front. Let's tie the bra together. Tie it even more together. Those vines are really not as good as the ones which I used before. They are not as supple and smooth. Well, anyway. Well, okay, yeah. Let's say that the broad part of the leaves is more or less where my breasts are. I think a lot of you will know much better than me how to adjust this, and if I had slightly bigger leaves growing in a sunnier place and slightly newer leaves which don't trip so easily, I would maybe do a better job, and if I did it for 10 times I would maybe do an even better job. Well, so this is the clothing. A slip, a bra and a hat. I mean, yeah, I prefer walking through the jungle with shorts and a t-shirt that protects you from leaves, spiny plants and animals which might be on the plants, but this is better than nothing, I think. Well, it kind of protects your most sensitive parts. It also gives you some decency, which is which is very important when you meet people and have to interact with people. If you come naked from the jungle, a lot of people might just act very strangely, but if you come covered with anything, even if it's some leaves, they might act a little bit more friendly or a little bit less shocked. And maybe some of you can make even more beautiful clothes from other leaves. As I said, this stuff, pretty much the same thing I did now, lasted for 1.5 hours through this jungle and climbing over huge boulders, wading through jungle rivers, going on steep slopes. Well, clothes might be quite important, but what's even more important for people who don't have enough calluses are shoes. Well, most of the locals around here, they walk around in rubber boots in the jungle. Some even walk in some sort of winter-like boots or heavy hiking boots. Some walk in light jogging shoes or chucks or something. Some even walk in Crocs or in flip-flops through the jungle. I walk in Crocs or flip-flops. Well, this is the footwear I used for 1.5 hours. Well, basically, of course, it's not as good as a rubber boot or even as a flip-flop, but it has some protection for the soles of your feet. And if you've been walking barefoot for hours, even if you haven't stepped into anything especially sharp, the soles of your feet will be so stressed from the thousands and thousands of impacts of stuff on them that even a sock or even a sock with holes or even something like this might help you a lot. And this stuff is pretty sturdy. I wore it for 1.5 hours inside my shoes. And yeah, where are they? It kind of survived. I ripped it apart only when I took it off. Now, let's try what will happen if we use more of those. Even more protection. Of course, they will become undone a lot faster than the rest of your clothing because they are experiencing a lot more stress and friction and impact on the ground than your other clothes. But even if you have to change them every 5 minutes, you will realize if you are not used to walking in the jungle, or especially on the first days, they can be a great blessing for you. So here I have 3. You can put as many as you want. As I said, you will have to change them all the time. Maybe, well, they have really amazing bark here. They make walls of houses and clothes and shoes from bark. If I learned which tree they use, I could make even better shoes and clothes for me. Well, this is the stuff basically. I'm pretty sure the way I tied it now, it would last for 5 to 10 minutes. And 5 to 10 minutes without your feet hurting at every step and without you wanting to scream at every step is quite a lot, especially in a survival situation.